So I'm here at Costco, and if you want real steak tips, flat meat, you have to go to Costco or BJ's. Preferably, BJ's is better because Costco doesn't sell the real thing. They say it's flat meat, but it's really not. BJ's is from New England, so they know flat meat. So I'm going to show you what you're looking for. Yeah, see, this is flat. They call it flat, but it's really not. It says flat. But it's flat. It shouldn't be flat like that. It should be steak tips. That's not really the red stuff, but we'll buy it. So these are the steak or the flat meat that I bought at Costco. I was kind of wrong about flat meat at Costco. It is the same thing at BJ's. We just cut it differently. We just have to cut it a little bit more, which is fine. We're gonna handle that. I'll show you how to do all that. Okay, so here we go. First, open package. And out of here, you'll get one big, looks like flank steak. Well, actually, two pieces in this case. So here we got one and two. Flat, marbly. Okay, that's where you get all the flavor for the steak. That's why it's a little tough. That's why you have to marinate it. But once you marinate it, it's ooh so good, right? Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is cut these into two halves. But you can see it's flat. It's not real thick. I'm still thinking this is a little different than BJ's. Maybe somebody can comment and tell me. I mean, the BJ's flat steak tip flat meat is not this thin. It's a lot thicker. Let me know. Anyway, I can cut this into two. Cut this into two. Alright? And because what I found, especially from this meat from Costco, is because it is so thin, and normal steak tips are really thicker, it cooks, you know, you don't really want to cook it thin. So normally you cook big chunks, like big chunks of beef stew meat, steak tips. But because the way this is so thin, what I found the best thing to do is you're gonna cut across the grain, and you're gonna leave them whole like that, just like that, and you're gonna cook them like that. Marinate them and cook them like that. Okay, across the grain, and if I do one more, it'll be small, but you get 3 strips. This, okay, this one, what I want tips. And I might be able to segregate, you know, that way I can put the even sized pieces on the grill at the same time. I can put the fat ones on and then keep the thin ones by themselves, or use it for something else. But I'm just gonna marinate everything, and then maybe, you know, if I just want to pan grill them or flat grill them instead of grilling them on the heat. These are gonna go in bags, and like I said, I'm gonna try to keep the big pieces together. And the small pieces together. So there's 2 packs. I mean, you could buy it. That's right there. That cost me $60. It's 60. Here, good. Price per pound is $15 a pound. So for $15 a pound, $60, you get those 2 packs. Now wash up, clean up my cutting board, and we'll go to the marinade. I'm gonna make my marinade the way I like my marinade. You can make your marinade in every different way, any different way. There's places that use Coca-Cola, barbecue sauce, teriyaki, whatever. There are 1,000 different variations. You can change it however you want. This is just the one I like. Kind of reminds me of home, back up in New England. So we'll, and for the sake of quantities, I usually just throw everything in the pot and by feel and look, but I will try to measure everything out so everybody can get an idea of the actual quantities, and maybe I'll post them, the amounts in the notes below. Okay, so what I use, balsamic vinaigrette dressing for base. This is my base. Ketchup, soy sauce, liquid smoke, garlic powder. I like garlic powder as opposed to fresh garlic or even the jar garlic because I think it works better in the marinade. Same thing with the onion powder. I like white pepper, black pepper, and salt. You don't need too much salt because the balsamic and soy sauce is gonna have plenty of salt in it. So first we're gonna start with, like I said, for austerity, I will try to measure things as best I can. And so remember, I have 2 bags here of marinade I want to cover. So this is how I would do it, throw it together. So this is, you always want to make sure you shake this up a lot because the oil and vinegar will separate. This is my base, so you know it's not gonna be too much because this is my primary base for the whole thing. So this is 1.5 cups of balsamic, and if I'm looking at that, it might even be too much, but we'll go with it. 1.5 cups of balsamic. And I'm gonna go with, could probably use just 1 cup of balsamic in the future, but what I would do is probably that much soy sauce, so that's 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Ketchup. I know everybody's gonna say, you can't put ketchup on it. I put ketchup on it. I've had family members give me a hard time about the ketchup. It makes sense. It's got vinegar in it, tomatoes, and spices. And it's pretty much what you want in your marinade. So, to hell with them. I'm putting it in. So I would put in if I had it. I do have it here. I absolutely like another 1/4 cup. Okay. And again, because the rest of the stuff I am just gonna do eyeball because I'm used to doing it. So make a mess here. Liquid smoke, the stuff is really strong, so you really only want to use a little bit. I mean drops, a couple drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 drops, that's it. It's really strong. Alright, I'll try to use my measuring. If I was to add some garlic powder, I'd probably add that much. That's quarter of a tablespoon. White pepper is pretty strong. I'm gonna say a teaspoon of this, or less. This is 1 teaspoon, so I'm gonna say half a teaspoon of white pepper. That's strong stuff. Onion powder, and as much as you want. That was probably too much. There's 1 full onion here. Black pepper. Whip it up. Give it a taste. Now, you really want to, if you had a hand mixer, that would be the way to go. I actually have one. I can't find the bottom unit. But you really want to emulsify this, so you want it to start thickening. At least that's the way I like it. I like it so it's thick and it starts to stick to these tips. And you can see it does get a little thick. You whisk it up. Taste. I didn't put any salt, and I can taste it. Taste again. A little better. Soy. More soy. Again, you make it the way you want it to taste. I know how I want it to taste. Pretty good. Right there. And then, carefully pour it into your bags. I had a mess in my hand, so just keep it going. Half in here. Try to get the air out as much as you can. Squeeze it down. Luckily it's closed. Squeeze it around, and you're going to want to marinate that for at least overnight if you can. That's the best way to go. There you go. My version of New England steak tips. I actually bought some scallops when I was at the store too, so I'm thinking steak tips and scallops. That's a New England favorite. Alright, any questions, let me know. Comments, let me know. Appreciate it. Bye.